The House with a Witch is a newly added Netflix film, and this film is really bad. This is a really, really awful movie. This is a terrible movie. The biggest offense of this movie is its characters. This film cares shit for its characters because there is no development for these characters throughout the entire runtime. And when we do eventually get to the point where the characters are inside this haunted house, it's really hard to care for them when all the characters are being killed off one by one. It's really hard to feel any sense of emotion or sympathy for these characters because they are very bland in this movie. Here's the thing, if you're going to make a horror film, the characters have to be front and center. Scares come second, which I will get to the scares in this film, but characters, they should be your guiding point in a horror film to make a horror script. If your characters don't work, the scares and the situation won't be as effective. And this film is a perfect example of that. These characters, you aren't connected or feel any attachment to any of these characters. So when shit does get real in this movie and characters start getting killed off, you don't feel any emotion. And at least myself, I just found myself sitting there trying to figure out who died because I didn't know who died. That's how forgettable and that's how pieces of shit these characters are. Is I actually had to go back and look who's not there. And when one of the characters loses a close friend to them, there is no feel of emotion or sympathy towards this character because this script doesn't even care shit to give you likable and interesting characters. This is the type of film where character development is really important. In any horror film, characters are always the most important. But in this film in particular, because since these are the characters that 98% of the runtime we are with, there is no valuable connection or relationship between the viewer and the characters. And like that's the biggest offense. And since we're with these characters for 98% of the time, at least to me, it just decreased the entertainment value of this movie, and the movie just wasn't as entertaining as if it did have likable characters. Anyways, enough talking about the characters. I don't want to make this review longer than it should be, and plus I just want to honestly just get this film over and done with because I have much better films on my October watch list that I can watch and review instead of this piece of shit. So let's move on with the negatives. This is a very generic movie. We have seen this concept a zillion times, and it has been done a zillion times better than what we got in this piece of shit. I've seen a better movie out of this. And guess what the backstory of the witch is? Annabelle, I think her name was. Guess what her backstory is? She got drowned. At least it was something like that. How many times has that been done to death in witch movies? The character has either been hung or drowned, and then she's come back to haunt this specific location. How many times has that been done? That's been done to death on screen, and I honestly just burst out with laughter when that was actually the backstory. In this film, it doesn't try to do anything unique. This is your typical standard haunted house movie. Oh, and the scares. I have to talk about the scares in this movie because they did not impress in this movie. These scares, you can see them coming from a mile away. Every single scare was predictable from the very second the setup of the scare started. I could tell exactly where the scares and the kills were going. And the CGI, that is another thing I cannot go without mentioning in this movie because the CGI, oh my god, is so fake looking and awful. Like the scenes when the witch is like eating the character's soul or something, or like possessing them, like I don't know what to call it. But that is the most CGI fest I have seen in a single scene ever, and it looked atrocious. Really, all the CGI in this just looked fake. Like the costume for the witch um, is very lazy, and the design of the witch. Like when you actually see her face and you see her costume, it's all looks so fake and just lazily put together. CGI is embarrassing to look at, and I'm not sure what the budget is for this movie, but for whatever it is, you could have easily done a better job than the end result that we got for the CGI. Because I've seen a lower budget horror films that have better CGI than this film. This movie is boring. Like I'm not actually sure how long this movie is, but I'm guessing 80 to 90 minutes. This movie felt so much because so much of this run is dedicated to characters we don't give a shit about, and we don't care if they die, and they're just walking around this house trying to find a way out. And that's what a large majority of this runtime is just characters walking around the house, not really doing much to solve this solution. They're just more just walking around. That's that's probably the best way to describe it. Because all the windows are blocked off with wood, and they've tried smashing down the door, and it's no hope. It will not open. The windows won't smash. They can't get out of this house. This house has trapped them in. And at the beginning of this movie, like this is probably another interesting thing of this movie, which did lead to it having potential, is like there was this rumor going around the town saying that this mansion outside of town is haunted, and even when the characters get there, even in the opening scene, like there's signs on the fence saying like "Do not enter," "No trespassing," all of that, like beware, like all of that. When you have a film with unlikable and disposable characters, it's a lot harder to get invested in scenes when there's really nothing to attach yourself to. Like you should be on this journey with these characters. You should be feeling like that sense of like fear that these characters are. Anyways, I'm not going to talk about this movie anymore. I've already wasted 2 hours of my life watching this movie and filming a review of this movie when I have like better horror movies to watch, and there are better haunted house movies than this. So if you want to watch a haunted house movie, watch anything but this. There's better haunted house films that are way scarier, that have better characters, way better characters than this film would ever have. So go check out them. There's lots of good ones out there. But yeah, this film would have really benefited from some character development. Anyways, don't watch this movie. This is one of the worst movies I have seen in October so far. So anyways, guys, let me know down in the comments, what is your favorite haunted house horror movie? Because I don't encourage you to see this movie, so I'm not going to ask you, have you seen it? Or what did you think of it? So instead, I'm going to ask you, what is your favorite haunted house horror movie? Answer me that down in the comment section down below. So anyways, guys, I hope you have a good rest of your day, evening, and night, wherever you are, and I will see you in the next video. Alright, bye.